Spencer, be honest. Did you enjoy the conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Was this one of the best interviews you've ever done? Come on,
it was a lot of fun. Absolutely.
Right.
It was fun to bring a guest in too. Great to meet you, Samer.
Spencer, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Very excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm in a high school classroom with you. I'm your friend. Who is Spencer? When you were younger, or like your secret ambition was to become a cowboy? Is that right? I hate to bring this up. Sometimes in life things happen to us and we have bad memories. But the reason I bring it up is because I feel like it plays a critical role in how it shaped you. Your brother passed away when you were 15.
He died in a car accident the day before graduating from his high school. When people have these kinds of tragedies, obviously it goes on to affect your entire life. I think for me, it caused me to double down and refocus on kicking ass as much as possible and trying to just accomplish.
Obviously, during your time at Hotwire, there was a tragedy. You had a family friend that went down in one of the planes that went down in Pennsylvania. It gives me just goosebumps thinking about it. I mean, obviously it was a tragedy for all of us, but just to think that somebody was personally connected to me that was on that. Can you take us through some of the emotions that you were feeling at the time? And then
Sure. So we started Hotwire in 1999, and in 2001, the company was doing very well. And then September 11, 2001 happened. As you mentioned, a good friend of my parents and of mine was killed in one of the planes. I was on the plane on September 10th. From Newark to SFO. So one of the four planes, same tail number, same flight number, et cetera. And I had given a speech on September 9th at the Millennium Hilton in New York, which collapsed under one of the World Trade Center buildings. So, I was 24 hours saved by 9/11, having been there and flown on that same plane. It turned out that Hotwire had sold a couple of the tickets to the hijackers, not the September 11th flights, but the September 10th flights that put a team in position from Bangor, Maine to Boston Logan. We had this really weird sense of guilt and association with the tragedy of 9/11. And then we had a business crisis on our hands. And not a great time to be an online travel company. just like 2020 was not a great time to be an online travel company.
Expedia acquires Hotwire, and then now, you go work for Dara, who's now the Uber CEO, wasn't he? He was a mentor of yours early in your career. Is that right?
He was, yeah. Well researched, credit here. But at the time, Expedia was the king of the hill. But the company was, as I say, struggling to maintain its level of innovation. And so I found that somewhat frustrating and ultimately decided to leave to try to do another startup. Where I felt that I could have more of an impact, and I felt that the company could be more innovative.
Some of the employees at Zillow, like you guys just kind of got together and decided that you wanted to do this startup. And what was going through my head when I was reading that was, how does that conversation even begin? Like you guys just say, hey, we're all going to leave and start the startup? Or like, how did it even start?
So here's how it began. Core value fit is more important than subject matter expertise.
Like, how do you know if they are a core value? I mean, you can't really, it's just by a
It's hard. It's a discussion of, tell me times in your past where you've shown a lot of sense of ownership over a product or a challenge. And
last bad memory, I promise. 2008 happens.
Yeah.
Take us through the worst day of that
Sure.
recession.
Sure. And these are bad memories, but they're also formative. And this is what makes people, and it's what makes companies or breaks companies. I wrote a blog post on Zillow blog, The Tidal Wave is Coming. And I think I wrote that in summer 2007, but we were looking at foreclosure data and it was pretty clear that we were going to hit this foreclosure wall.
2019, you stepped down from Zillow. In your annual review, you mentioned that the reason that you had stepped down from Zillow was because you felt like you needed a change, like you wanted a new learning opportunity. Is that more of like a process, or is that more of a feeling? Like, how did you know it was the right time to do that?
It's just kind of, like when work starts to feel like work, then it's probably time to do something different.
I like that. That was succinct right there.
The reason I started dot.LA was because I'd moved back to Los Angeles about 4 years ago, and I grew up in LA. And when I came back after 20 years of being away, there were founders, there were entrepreneurs, there were VCs, there were unicorns, there were big public companies like Snapchat, Silicon Valley public companies like Google and Facebook that have thousands and thousands of employees in LA. But there was no journalism. There was nobody telling the story of the region. So Pacaso, owning a second home is not accessible to most people. It's kind of only for the 1%. And what we're endeavoring to do at Pacaso is to make second home ownership more affordable and accessible and enjoyable to many, many more people through co-ownership.
There you are.
Working, right?
All right.
Hey, Spencer, how you doing?
Excellent.
Likewise. It's an honor to meet you here.
Did you say you were computer science at UW undergrad, or what was your undergraduate degree? A card you can play is the finance background also, from PitchBook and finance. So, I mean,
Spencer, thank you so much for coming on today, my friend. Samer, hopefully that was helpful.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it, Spencer.
Spencer, be honest. Did you enjoy the conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Was this one of the best interviews you've ever done? Come on,
it was a lot of fun. Absolutely.
Right.
It was fun to bring a guest in too. Great to meet you, Samer, and thank you for having me.